Chapter 1, Miss Ashton, your application for a new identity at the base has been approved. For the security of the secret facility, we will arrange an accidental death to completely erase the traces of your previous life. The time of death will be your wedding, 1 month from now. If you agree, please sign here to confirm. Vivian Ashton carefully read the contract. Base operative, Vivian Ashton. Method of death, plane crash, no remains found. Time of death. Wedding day, 1 month from now. 1 month from now was supposed to be her lavish wedding to Ethan Pierce, the Ascetic Prince of the capital. It would also be the day she would fake her death and leave him for good. She raised her hand and signed her name on the agreement. After signing the papers, she walked outside. Vivian saw the downtown jumbotron playing footage of Ethan Pierce engrossed in wedding preparations. On the screen, an entire island was blanketed in a sea of roses. The most luxurious hotel on the island was encrusted with jewels and crystal tassels that glittered like 1,000 stars, resembling a fairy tale castle. A swarm of reporters flocked around Ethan Pierce, clamoring to interview him. Mr. Pierce, the rumor is you're the famed Ascetic Prince of the capital, known for never getting close to women. Is that true? What kind of woman could possibly make you break your vows of abstinence and fall for her? To spend $1 billion and work day and night personally designing a fairy tale wedding just for her? Ethan's usual cool detachment was gone, his eyes brimming with love. Because she's special. She is as pure as the bright moon cutting through the night. In the restlessness and confusion of this secular world, I suddenly found my direction. She purified my heart and gave me a reason to live. This love is beyond romance, beyond worldly things. It's simply because it's her. In the endless darkness, she is the light that brought me salvation. The reporters pressed on, so now that you've left the monastery and shed your monastic robes, is it to take over the Pierce Corporation? Ethan's lips curled into a faint smile. No, it's for my fiancée, Vivian Ashton. The reporters froze for a moment, then recovered. Oh, we thought you were finally taking over the Pierce Corporation because your grandfather, Mr. Pierce SR, was forcing you to. Ethan's indifferent dark eyes took on an unshakable seriousness. In my heart, no one is more important than my fiancé. All the wealth and assets I now possess seem dim and insignificant, like dust, compared to her. Your fiancé is truly enviable on the screen. A smile touched Ethan's cool eyes. It's getting late. My fiancé should be home soon, and there's not much food left in the house. If I don't go back and cook for her, she'll probably make me go meditate in penance again. Vivian stood in the bustling city square, surrounded by a group of girls whose faces were flushed as they squealed with delight. What kind of divine couple is this? I'm going to cry? Awa, Mom. I believe in love again. I'm skipping dinner tonight. I'm already full from all this sweetness. But Vivian, the subject of all this adoration, just gave a sarcastic tug at her lips. Many people thought she must have saved the galaxy in a past life to have met a man as perfect as Ethan Pierce. She used to think so, too. Meeting Ethan was a blessing she had earned over centuries of good deeds. That was why, for the past 5 years, she had given him everything, all for the sake of spending a lifetime with him. But who would have known? She was nothing more than a replacement for his first love. Chapter 2, Ethan, you lose, pay up, your turn to talk. Vivian's hand, reaching for the door, froze. She stood just outside the private room. A long silence filled the room before Ethan tilted his head back, downing a large glass of red wine. His voice, hoarse with alcohol, finally broke the quiet. When I was 18, I was stabbed in the chest during a family dispute and thrown into the deep sea. I thought I was dead for sure. But I drifted to a small island and was saved by a girl. She took care of me day and night and even gave me her first time. I still have the spot of red on her white dress. The scar on my chest, right over my heart, is a mark that belongs only to her. I wanted to take her home, but she suddenly disappeared. For years, I searched the world for her like a madman. After a moment, someone else asked, "So you've stayed away from women all these years because of her, your first love?" Ethan nodded, then let out a derisive laugh. "My current girlfriend, Vivian Ashton, is just her replacement." In that instant, Vivian felt the blood freeze in her veins. It was as if she were pinned by countless cold iron chains, unable to move. An invisible hand seemed to grip her heart, and every breath was a sharp, stabbing pain. She was a replacement for his first love. The room seemed stunned for a second, then erupted in applause and cheers. Damn, you win, we concede. Now that's a man of true feeling. That's the best tribute to a man's first love. You've elevated it, so, after all these years, you still haven't heard from her. A gentle smile touched Ethan's lips. She came back 3 months ago. Another wave of commotion swept through the room. Your first love is back. Where is she now? Let us meet your true love. You didn't set her up in the hotel where you're planning the wedding, did you? I've seen you heading there every day lately. Ethan nodded, confirming their suspicions. Well, if you two get back together, what about Vivian Ashton? Ethan was silent for a long moment. I promised to marry her. I won't break our promise. His friends started to hoot and holler. That's normal for a man, especially a successful one like you. As long as the one at home is obedient, you can have the best of both worlds then. A longer silence. Hearing sounds from inside, Vivian realized they were about to come out. Jarred back to her senses, she turned, her face pale, and fled down the stairs. She hurried down, her mind a chaotic blank. Suddenly, someone bumped into her hard and she fell. She landed heavily on the ground, a bloody gash on her leg stinging sharply, but she felt nothing. She stumbled down the rest of the stairs as a heavy rain began to fall. The world seemed to be shrouded in a curtain of sorrowful rain. Tears and rainwater streamed down her face, indistinguishable from one another. 5 years with Ethan Pierce. Countless beautiful memories flooded her mind. She remembered the first time she saw him. She and her best friend, Chloe, had gone to a monastery to offer incense. She had gotten lost and was cornered and harassed by a group of thugs disguised as tourists. And there he was, dressed in simple robes. But he was still breathtakingly handsome, with an extraordinary air about him. With just a broom in his hand, he took down the thugs in a few swift moves, leaving them bruised and battered. They fled in terror. The next time I see you causing trouble here, I'll shave your heads and throw you in the police station. Are you all right? It's getting dark. You should head down the mountain. She looked up at him, a wide grin spreading across her face. He seemed lost in thought for a moment. She thought that, like her, he had been moved. Chapter 3. Looking back now, she realized his momentary daze was because he was thinking of his first love. Ethan had been living at the monastery for years, practicing as a lay Buddhist. Everyone knew how desperately she had loved him for those 5 years. Her world revolved around him. For his sake, she had even turned down her professor's invitation to join the nation's top computer security agency. It was a classified government department. Back then, her mind was so full of Ethan that the thought of joining, and rarely seeing him again, made her reject the offer without a second thought. Her professor had lamented the decision for a long time, calling her a computer genius who was wasting her talent. For years, she stayed by his side, etching every detail of him, every frown, every smile into her very being, documenting it all in thick journals. She would have done anything for him. She had walked with him through treacherous, muddy mountain paths in a storm, just to visit a remote ancient temple. The mountain path that day, washed out by the downpour, had become slick and muddy, like a giant python ready to swallow everything whole. The wind howled, threatening to pull them into its maw. Suddenly, Ethan slipped and nearly fell off the path. She yanked him back with all her might, saving him, but lost her own balance and plunged into a deep pool of water. Because of that, she broke her leg. It took a full 6 months to heal, and it left her with a lasting problem. Whenever it rained, her leg would throb with a needle-like pain. She had never been interested in Buddhist scriptures, finding them archaic and difficult to understand. But she would use her own savings to travel the world, searching for rare, original texts for him, just to see the genuine smile that would light up his face whenever he saw them. Once, his grandfather tried to force him to leave the mountain and take over the Pierce Corporation, even arranging a marriage alliance to trap him. He was drugged. Late that night, he burst into her cabin, his eyes terrifyingly red with restraint. He pushed her down, his lips crashing onto hers. His hands cupped her face, his eyes burning with a fiery passion as he whispered in her ear. That night, he held her so tightly, as if terrified she would disappear. With tears in his eyes, he confessed that she was his salvation, the light of his life, and begged her never to leave him. She remembered the morning she woke up. Ethan looked utterly broken, repeatedly chanting a mantra for clarity. She gasped for breath, feeling a pang of sorrow, thinking he didn't really want to be with her. Silently, she dressed, piece by piece. As she turned to leave, he suddenly reached out and grabbed her hand. "I've broken my vows. I can't continue my practice. Let's be together. I'll marry you." His voice was low, as if he had made a monumental decision. She stood there, stunned, for a long time before she could process what Ethan had just promised her. Had she heard him right? He wanted to marry her, so he did like her. The sound of her own heart was deafening. In that moment, her entire body, down to her very blood, felt like it had turned to thick, sweet honey. The day they left the mountain, she held his hand and said earnestly, "Ethan, from now on, I will love you with my entire being. If meeting you was a blessing from a past life, I am willing to spend this lifetime repaying it. But if you ever change your mind, I will sever all ties between us and disappear from your world completely." Ethan had held her then, giving her what felt like solid, dependable love and warmth. In the months leading up to the wedding, watching him bustle about, personally designing and arranging everything just to give her the most romantic ceremony, filled her with dreams for the future. Her heart overflowed with sweetness. She felt she must have done good deeds for centuries to have earned this man's epic devotion. Until, in the hotel garden for the wedding, she saw him kissing another woman. Chapter 4, the woman was his unforgettable first love, Lorelei Lowell. After overhearing his conversation with his friends, she had still wanted to see for herself. After all, how could she easily let go of the man she had loved for 5 years? But when the naked truth was laid bare before her, she could no longer deceive herself. She looked down at the good luck charm she had just prayed for, feeling only irony and ridicule. She had gone to an ancient temple deep in the mountains, a place said to be especially potent. She had kowtowed up 1,000 steps, bowing her head with every step until her forehead was swollen like a cartoon old man's. From dawn until dusk, she had bowed, all for this one charm. "To all the Buddhas in the heavens, I hope you will always protect the person I love most, Ethan Pierce. I only wish to grow old with him, and I hope he can live a life of peace and happiness." She had chanted it over and over with immense piety. But now, watching the two of them kissing, pressed together without a sliver of space between them, the winter chill was no match for the heat of their desire for each other. For her, who had always been resilient and optimistic, it felt as if her world had completely shattered in that instant. She stood in the shadows, a silent statue. She was an orphan, found by the orphanage director next to a garbage heap. Growing up without the love of family, she was constantly bullied by older children, enduring endless humiliation. Yet, she had never shed a single tear. Her time at the orphanage had forged her heart into something as hard as ice. But now, her eyes couldn't help but turn red. A sour, stinging pain she had never felt before welled up in her heart. Her eyes were fixed on the entangled figures of the kissing couple. A silent cry, like a lament from the depths of her soul, seemed particularly desolate in this cold, dark corner. The man she had loved for 5 years, how much of his affection had ever been real? She returned home and huddled in a dark corner, wrapping her arms tightly around herself. After an unknown amount of time, a ringing phone shattered the darkness. "Vivian, I heard you're coming to our secret base soon. Is that true? But I also heard you're about to get married. Coming to the base means completely erasing your old identity. Are you really willing to leave the man you love to the bone?" She suppressed a sob, fighting back her sorrow as she replied, "The person he loves was never me. I was just a ridiculous replacement. There's nothing to be reluctant about. I'll be there." The person on the other end was silent for a long time before offering comfort. "It's okay. You still have us." After composing herself, she stood up and gathered all the mementos of Ethan she had collected over the year's 148 thick journals and stacks of scriptures she had copied for him day and night. She took out a brazier and, page by page, fed the records of her devotion into the flames. Countless memories burned until only ashes remained. Finally, only one book was left, the latest rare text she had copied for him. She took out a sticky note, dipped a pen in ink, and wrote a few words. "Ethan Pierce, let's break up. I regret falling in love with you. Let's part ways here. Our fate has ended, our love is gone. From now on, we are strangers." Then she stuck the note on the last page of the book. Just like their love, it had reached the end, with no more pages to turn. An hour later, Ethan rushed through the door. "Vive, I'm back. I hired the most famous painter from abroad to create countless oil paintings of you. On the wedding day, we'll light them up with dreamy projections. It will be incredibly romantic. You smile like an angel. Come take a look, I know you'll love it. Chapter 5. Without even taking off his shoes, he strode toward her, his face beaming with joy as he held up a laptop. He's about halfway done. Let me show you what he's finished so far. The rest should be completed before the wedding. I've given each painting a special name. Vivian's Embrace is my favorite. It represents my longing for you, Vive, an eternal, winding connection, a fateful encounter. What do you think? Do you like it? Ethan held the laptop close to her, his eyes filled with anticipation as he waited for her to praise his arrangements and the portrait oil paintings of her various expressions on the screen. Looking at the smiling face in the paintings felt like a sharp knife twisting inside her. She used to smile so much, especially when she saw Ethan. Her eyes would curve into crescent moons, and he always said her smile was like 1,000 stars blooming in the night sky. But now she didn't know whose face he was seeing through her eyes back then. She lowered her head and said nothing. He looked anxious and quickly explained, "Are you upset that I came back late? It's because I want to give you the grandest, most romantic wedding in a month. I want you to be the happiest bride in the entire capital." In his haste, he knocked over a glass on the table. The loud shatter echoed the state of her heart, broken into pieces that could never be put back together. He quickly bent down to clean up the shards. "Vive, why aren't you wearing shoes or socks? What if you step on the glass?" She looked down and saw a thin sheen of sweat on his anxious face. A faint, serene scent of sandalwood emanated from him, full of a restrained sensuality. But as he bent over, the collar of his simple robe gaped open, revealing a dense cluster of love bites, some deep, some shallow. A few looked like they had been freshly made. She remembered the years she followed him around like a shadow when he had told her earnestly, "I have devoted my life to spiritual practice. I will not be entangled in the secular world for anyone. You should leave sooner rather than later." The man who was once like a pure deity, untouched by worldly desires, had now become so voracious. It wasn't until she saw him passionately kissing his first love, Lorelei, in the garden that she understood. His serene composure, his abstinence from earthly pleasures, it was only ever for her. Ethan noticed Vivian staring into space and felt a flicker of doubt. She didn't seem as warm toward him as she used to be. He leaned down, gently scooped her into his arms, and placed a kiss on her forehead. "Go rest in the room for a bit. I'll clean up the broken glass, then you can come out. While you're there, pick your favorite oil painting. I'll place it in the center at the wedding. Wait, I have something for you, too." She struggled out of his embrace, went to her room, and brought back the newly copied scripture, sealed in a box. "What's this?" Vivian forced a smile. "You gave me a gift, didn't you? This is my gift in return." A look of surprise lit up Ethan's calm, dark eyes. He was eager to open it, but Vivian stopped him. "Put it on your bookshelf. Wait a month before you open it." Ethan looked puzzled. "Why?" Vivian said, word by word. "Our wedding is in a month, isn't it? Opening it then will make it more meaningful." Hearing this, Ethan nodded in agreement. "All right, I'll listen to you, Vive." She watched as he lovingly placed the box on the central bookshelf, inside an exquisite wooden case. He picked up a pen and wrote another note, "Open in 30 days." Vivian silently watched him do all this. "Ethan, the gift I have for you at the wedding is far more than just this. It's also the news of my death. I hope that in a month, you'll be truly surprised." Chapter 6. On the weekend, Vivian woke up to Ethan's good morning kiss. "Vive, the wedding dress I had the world's top designer create for you has arrived at the hotel on the island. Let's go try it on and see if it fits. It's covered in your favorite stars. I used diamonds to stud the entire skirt, making it look like a constellation blooming in the night sky. It's so dreamy. Don't you want to see it?" Vivian felt no interest and was about to refuse, but Ethan had already lifted her into his arms, carried her to the vanity, and began combing her hair. Ever since they got together, Ethan had loved to style her hair. "You look so captivating like this." Once he was finished, he eagerly pulled her out the door. When they arrived at the island hotel, the sight of endless roses and crystal chandeliers felt surreally beautiful. But the sea of romantic flowers that once symbolized deep love now felt like a piercing red, stabbing at her heart and threatening to tear it to shreds. A dull ache spread through her chest. "Vive, what are you staring at? Are you so stunned you're speechless? Do you like it?" Ethan noticed the fine beads of sweat on her fair face and gently wiped them away with a plain white handkerchief. His long fingers wrapped around hers. She tried to pull away, but he held on tightly. The hotel lobby was even more magnificent. Suddenly, Ethan's phone rang. He glanced at the caller ID, then looked at her with a moment of hesitation. "I need to take this call. You can sit on the sofa and enjoy the ocean view. If you need anything, just ask a server." In that split second, she had caught the name on the screen, only for Lorelei. Wow, so that must be the girl who made the ascetic prince of the capital break his vows. She's so sweet, and her smile is beautiful. I'm so lucky to be shooting here today. I got a sweet photo of them together. When I post this online, I'm going to get a ton of new followers who ship them. It's so enviable. The ascetic prince and his first love, I hope they'll be happy forever. First love. She had always thought she was the one who had broken through his iron-clad heart and brought him back to the mortal world, his one true love. But now she was nothing but a joke. "Ethan, was your acting just too good, or was my love just too deep?" In 5 years, she hadn't suspected a thing. Suddenly, her phone vibrated with a text from an unknown number. "Miss Ashton, want to see a show? Go to the luxury suite on the top floor of the hotel, room 8888. Vivian got into the elevator and went to the top floor suite. The door was ajar, intentionally left open a crack. Peeking through the gap, she saw the man who, just moments ago, had been lovingly planning their wedding and telling her about her custom-made gown. Now, he was looking with infinite tenderness at a woman sitting before a mirror. His long fingers gently lifted a strand of the woman's fallen hair, his touch exceptionally gentle, as if handling a priceless treasure. "Lori, do you know? I love it when you put your hair up, revealing your swan-like neck. You look so noble and untouchable. You have no idea how captivating you are." Lorelei Lowell tilted her head back slightly, a shy blush on her cheeks, her eyes filled with adoration. Ethan tucked the strand of hair back. He slowly leaned in, his lips gently pressing against Lorelei's neck. What began as a delicate touch soon turned into a passionate, deep kiss, his hands wrapping tightly around the woman's waist. In the past, Ethan had lovingly styled her hair every day. She thought it was his way of cherishing and pampering her. Only now did she realize he was using her to kiss another woman. Chapter 7, her body trembled uncontrollably, as a pain, like being gnawed by insects, spread throughout her. "Don't, my dear Ethan, your fiancé is still waiting for you downstairs. Aren't you afraid she'll get angry if she waits too long?" Ethan froze for a moment. "It's fine. She's never been angry with me in all these years. I'll just have to soothe her a little when I get back." Lorelei shot a triumphant look toward the doorway, then continued, "My dear Ethan, she's just my replacement. You've prepared such a grand wedding for her. Aren't you afraid I'll get jealous?" Ethan's expression grew serious again. "She was with me through my darkest days. I promised to marry her, and I will. As for you, if you want a wedding like this, I'll arrange an even grander one for you. There's only one condition. You absolutely cannot let Vive find out." Lorelei's expression stiffened, but a moment later she was smiling and kissing him back, a hint of malice in her eyes. Soon, the room was filled with the sounds of their passionate entanglement. Who knows how many positions the two of them tried, until the woman inside was on her knees, begging for mercy. Ethan had lost his usual calm and composure, launching into one conquest after another with a fierce intensity. So the so-called cold, ascetic prince, untouched by the mortal world, was only that way because she wasn't the one pulling him into it. The scene before her pierced her heart, and the pain was so overwhelming it nearly suffocated her. Vivian looked pale and fragile, like a dandelion puff that could be scattered by a single breath. She didn't stay to listen further, turning and stumbling down the stairs. Suddenly, the phone in her pocket vibrated incessantly. "Miss Ashton, how was it? Was the show exciting? Now you see what you are, don't you? You're just my replacement. You've been occupying my place all this time. Don't you feel ridiculous? My dear Ethan is always so composed with you, isn't he? Like a desireless monk. That's just because he's not interested in you. He doesn't love you at all with me, he can't get enough. You've never experienced this kind of ecstasy, have you? Ha. If you know what's good for you, give up your position. When you do, I'll have my dear Ethan give you a generous breakup fee, enough to set you up for life." A flood of messages arrived, along with various sexy selfies of Lorelei, each one a smug boast. Vivian's hands trembled as she sent a text to an encrypted number. Nathan Shaw, get me everything on Lorelei Lowell. I want to know where she's been all these years, what she's done, and everything she and Ethan Pierce have been up to recently. I want all their video and message records, decrypted and sent to me. A moment later, a reply came. Don't worry, leave it to me. 15 days left. I'll be waiting for your return. Back home, Vivian began to silently pack away all the memories related to Ethan from over the years. The good luck charms she'd prayed for, the scriptures she'd copied, the matching couple's items he'd given her as signs of their love. The wedding photos they'd taken just a few months ago, countless vacation pictures, the portrait oil paintings, the memories replayed in her mind, every stroke and word filled with her admiration, hope, and boundless affection for him. But now, her eyes held only coldness and resolve. She gathered everything, carried it out to the garden along with the romantic sea of flowers Ethan had planted for her, and with a blank expression, lit it all on fire. She burned every last memory to the ground. What a cold, ascetic prince of the capital. Thinking of the frenzied scene at the hotel, she laughed mockingly. Her heart, along with the great fire, was scorched black. The flames shot into the sky, instantly consuming all her years of memories with him. The vast sea of flowers would never bloom again, just like their love, which was already riddled with holes and devoid of life. It was midnight before Ethan rushed home. He had been drinking. The moment he saw her, he pressed himself against her, trying to kiss her. She shoved him away hard, turning her body to avoid him. Seeing her coldness, Ethan sobered up instantly. "Vive, are you angry? Why did you leave early today? I was looking for you all over the hotel. That's why I'm so late." Ha, looking for her, or more like, not yet finished with his first love. She said flatly, "It's nothing. I was just tired today, so I came back to rest." Ethan gazed at her back, feeling that something was different. Though Vivian was an orphan, she was incredibly resilient and optimistic. Every time she saw him, she would flash a dimpled smile. For 5 years, it was her smile that had pulled him out of his dark world. But lately, her smiles had become fewer and fewer, and she had grown more and more distant. A sense of unease grew in Ethan. "Vive, are you mad that I didn't spend time with you today? There was an emergency at the company. It won't happen again, please forgive me, okay?" Vivian turned to face him, their eyes meeting. "Ethan, 5 years ago, it was love at first sight for me. I pursued you for so long before we finally got together. I gave you my all, even gave up my own dreams. When we left the mountain, you said that in this mortal world, I was your only salvation, the only one you wanted to marry. So what if you stopped loving me? What if you changed your mind? That will never happen. I swore to the heavens that I would only ever marry you and love you. If I break that promise, may I be struck by lightning," Ethan vowed. Suddenly, a shrill ringtone cut through the air. "My dear Ethan, help me?" Chapter 8 outside, lightning flashed and thunder roared as if trying to rip the night in two. 2 years ago, she had broken her leg saving Ethan, an injury that left a lasting mark. On rainy days, her leg would ache as if pierced by needles, the pain spreading through her entire body. Vivian fought back the intense pain, her face pale as she spoke with a tremor. "Ethan, could you get me the painkillers?" But Ethan, hearing the plea for help on the phone, was thrown into a panic. He didn't even notice Vivian's distress. After hanging up, he said hurriedly, "Vive, I have an emergency at the company. I'll come back and be with you as soon as I'm done, okay?" An inexplicable nervousness gripped him as he looked to her for permission. Vivian suppressed her emotions and met his gaze. Just one look was enough to stun Ethan. When had it happened? When had the light in his Vivian's eyes gone out? His throat moved slightly as he unconsciously called her name. "Vive," he wanted to say more, but Vivian cut him off. She forced a smile and said coldly, "Go on. Don't be late." Ethan looked at her tone, which was as calm as usual. He checked again and saw nothing out of the ordinary. Reassured, he ruffled her hair and turned to leave. A moment later, the sound of a car engine faded into the distance until it was gone. The smile on Vivian's face vanished completely, replaced by 2 streams of tears. Waves of pain shot through her leg, so intense she nearly fainted. She crawled out of bed, her hand shaking as she retrieved the painkillers from a drawer and swallowed them. Then she collapsed back onto the bed, completely limp. Before, on rainy days, Ethan would fly back overnight from a business trip, sitting by her side for hours just to watch her take her medicine. But ever since Lorelei appeared, he had forgotten the gruesome scar that had been branded onto her body in the act of saving him. Just then, the phone on the table buzzed. It was from Nathan Shaw. "I've found everything about what Lorelei has been up to all these years. The disgusting videos and chat logs of her and Ethan Pierce have all been sent to your email. This Lorelei woman is not simple. Be careful." She silently wiped the tears from her face and, with a trembling hand, opened the email. On a beach, Lorelei, in a skimpy thong bikini, pressed herself against Ethan, kissing him passionately. In a garden at night, they engaged in various acts, their two figures entwined, insatiable. Even in the garage of their own villa, the car shook so violently it seemed it would punch a hole through the concrete, their lust-fueled frenzy filling the night. A clap of thunder seemed to split her heart to pieces. Even though she had given up all hope for him, seeing this with her own eyes was still like having a blade twist in her heart. The restrained tenderness Ethan had shown her in bed now became a blood-stained, icy knife, mocking her and leaving her bleeding. Her phone started flashing again. "Vivian Ashton, I win again. I just said I was scared of thunder, and my dear Ethan rushed over from your side to be with me. He's in the kitchen making me a calming soup right now, oh, and some good news for you. I'm pregnant. But my dear Ethan still couldn't resist and made love to me 7 times. I'm so exhausted I could collapse. From start to finish, you were just a pathetic replacement. Get lost if you know what's good for you. If you dare to marry my dear Ethan, don't blame me for being ruthless." Chapter 9, their wedding was getting closer. Ethan spent all his time at the Island Hotel, though it was unclear whether he was busy preparing for the grand, romantic ceremony or busy with his first love. New identity successfully activated. In 3 days, we look forward to you joining the secret base. That evening, after she had tried on her wedding dress at the hotel, Ethan suddenly stood up, a look of panic and agitation in his eyes. "Vive, I just saw a message on your phone. Something about a new identity being activated. What does that mean? Where are you going?" Her heart leaped into her throat, but she explained, "It's nothing. I got bored and programmed a sea adventure game for myself. I just set up a new identity for it." Ethan let out a sigh of relief. He held out a piece of osmanthus cake. "I spent 3 hours this morning picking these osmanthus flowers from the mountain. It took me 5 hours to make this. Try it and see if it's good." Vivian looked at the deep affection in his eyes and felt only scorn. During the years she spent with him at the monastery, her favorite thing was to watch him meditate under the osmanthus tree. She loved it so much it was etched into her bones. That was why she had always adored osmanthus. But now she didn't like it anymore. She didn't take the cake. She turned away. "It's too sweet. You eat it. I'm going to the restroom." Ethan watched her indifferent back, the unease in his heart growing. It felt as if something was slipping out of his world. Vivian walked out of the restroom, about to head back. Suddenly, a dark figure rushed toward her. Before she could react, she was shoved hard and sent tumbling down the stairs. "Ah," she cried out. "Vivian Ashton, I told you to leave, but you wouldn't listen. Now you have to suffer the consequences." Lorelei stood in a corner, her face twisted with malice. She walked down, her expression ferocious, and stomped her high heel onto Vivian's injured leg. Vivian bit her lip so hard it bled, enduring the pain as she glared at her face deathly pale. Lorelei then picked up a can of red paint and violently threw it all over Vivian. "They all say you're my replacement. We look so much alike. When my dear Ethan gets here, who do you think he'll recognize first, you or me? How about a bet? If my dear Ethan recognizes me first, then I'll be the bride at the wedding. What do you say? Do you dare?" After speaking, she poured red paint all over herself as well. Vivian's forehead was beaded with cold sweat, her face growing paler by the second. She forced a cold smile. "Fine. If you want to be the bride so badly, then I'll grant you your wish." Before pretending to faint, Lorelei called Ethan. "My dear Ethan, I accidentally fell down the stairs. Come save me and the baby." After she hung up, Vivian's consciousness began to fade. Not long after, a familiar figure appeared. She forced her eyes open. She saw Ethan rush straight to Lorelei's side. Seeing the red all over the floor, he was frantic. He immediately scooped Lorelei up, not even glancing at Vivian on the ground. "Will our baby be okay? My dear Ethan, I'm so scared. My dear Ethan, there's another person on the floor, shouldn't we save her?" Ethan, looking panicked, said, "This is no time to worry about other people, I'm taking you to the hospital." His figure grew more and more distant, and Vivian's consciousness slipped away. When she woke up, she was in the hospital. If you hadn't been found and treated in time, your leg would have been permanently damaged. You need to be more careful in the future. Rest for 2 days, and if everything's fine, you can be discharged. 2 days later, Vivian completed the discharge procedures and walked out of the hospital. Perhaps it was finally time to leave. The phone in her pocket buzzed nonstop, ringing over and over. It was Ethan. She declined the call and ignored it. Back home, she erased every last trace of her existence. She packed her bags. Vivian opened her laptop and saw an email from Nathan Shaw. "Vivian, everything has been arranged. The location of your death will be at sea. While your grand wedding is taking place, the news of your death will be spread across all major media platforms." Vivian raised her hand and clicked confirm. Suddenly, her phone buzzed. "Vive, tomorrow is our wedding. Where are you? I'll come pick you up." Vivian suppressed her emotions and sent him a message. "Don't worry, you focus on preparing for the wedding. I'll be there on time tomorrow. It's been 30 days. The gift box I gave you before, you can open it after the wedding tomorrow. I hope it will be a nice surprise for you." A moment later, a flood of animated hearts and loving emojis filled the screen. "Vive, your presence in my life is the most sacred gift from the gods. Tomorrow, you will become my beautiful Mrs. Pierce." A sacred gift? Ha, Ethan Pierce, from this day on, I will disappear from your world. Our fate has ended, our love is gone. From now on, we are strangers. She picked up her suitcase and walked out the door. The world outside was bright with the morning sun, full of new purpose and responsibility. From now on, her heart belonged to her country, without regret. Chapter 10, Sitting on the Military Plane, Vivian Ashton watched as the decoy aircraft exploded in midair. The massive roar seemed to tear a hole in the sky. Burning debris, like the dismembered limbs of a great bird, rained down and was quickly swallowed by the deep blue abyss below. All her entanglements with Ethan Pierce were like that debris burning intensely before being silently buried in the depths. Vivian gazed out at the azure sky, feeling like an eagle that had regrown its wings, ready to soar into a sky that was hers alone. She took a deep breath. The heavy burden on her heart seemed to sink into the sea with the wreckage, leaving her feeling as light as a feather. After so much darkness, she could finally feel the light. She relaxed completely. Meanwhile, on the island, a wedding of epic proportions was in full swing. Crystal chandeliers scattered starlight under the sun, reflecting off exquisite silverware and the romantic sea of flowers. The notes of an international orchestra intertwined perfectly with the dappled light, while a children's choir sang romantic melodies with all their might. Guests in fine attire mingled and chatted cheerfully. Everyone was immersed in the magnificent atmosphere. A horde of reporters had surrounded the hotel, eager to witness the wedding of the century. Ethan Pierce wore a deep blue, custom-made suit, a delicate boutonniere pinned to his chest. Inside, it was a small golden plaque with the word groom engraved in scripture. Vivian had carved that boutonniere herself. It also featured 2 little cartoon people kissing, cut from red paper, which she had stayed up several nights to make. The wedding invitations, too, had been handwritten by her with a calligraphy brush, a task that had taken her a full month. He gently touched the smiling cartoon figures, a tender look on his face. From this day on, Vivian Ashton would be his Mrs. Pierce. He would cherish her for a lifetime, love and protect her until they were old, and never let her suffer even the slightest harm. Ethan's gaze was fixed on the entrance to the sea of flowers, his mind filled with images of Vivian walking toward him in the star-dusted wedding dress he had custom-made for her, looking like an angel. His heart felt like it would leap out of his chest. Every beat was a fantasy, a hopeful anticipation of their beautiful life together. At that moment, backstage, the Pierce family's staff were anxiously awaiting Vivian's arrival. But with the ceremony about to begin, the bride was still nowhere to be found. The star-dusted wedding dress in the closet was also eagerly awaiting its owner. Suddenly, the backstage door was kicked open, and Lorelei Lowell burst in. She shouted at the staff, "What are you all standing around for? The wedding is about to start. Vivian Ashton isn't coming. Today's bride can only be me. What are you staring at? A bunch of useless fools. Help me put on the dress." The Pierce family staff exchanged confused glances. Seeing Lorelei, who bore a striking resemblance to Vivian, they were at a loss. You're not Mrs. Pierce. Lorelei smugly pulled out videos and photos. Open your dog eyes and see who the woman in these photos and videos is. The person my dear Ethan has always loved is me, the other one was just an imposter. Are you going to help me or not? Do you want to be fired? Hearing her threats, the staff members looked down nervously but still didn't move. Lorelei roared, "A bunch of useless trash once I'm the real Mrs. Pierce, I'll fire all of you." She opened the closet herself and, a moment later, was wearing the diamond-studded, star-dusted wedding dress that had been made exclusively for Vivian. Vivian Ashton, you were smart to give up the position of Mrs. Pierce. A man as refined and handsome as my dear Ethan is someone only I am worthy of. The imposter should have disappeared long ago. My dear Ethan, after today, you're all mine, haha. On the large screen at the wedding, their engagement photos were being displayed. Suddenly, the screen went black, and the sharp, piercing sound of a news broadcast filled the air. According to reports, Flight A6890 exploded in mid-air today. The entire plane was destroyed and plunged into the deep sea. There were no survivors, and no remains have been found. Among the passengers was Miss Vivian Ashton, who was set to marry the capital's heir, Ethan Pierce. Ethan's face changed in an instant, his eyes filled with fury. Who is playing this sick joke at my wedding? Get out here. My fiancée is backstage getting ready. She's about to marry me and become my Mrs. Pierce. What are you all doing? When I find out who's behind this prank at my wedding, I'll make them wish they were never born. Just then, a servant rushed out, panicked. Young Master Pierce, it's terrible, a strange woman broke into the backstage area and tore up Mrs. Pierce's wedding dress. Chapter 11, What? Ethan immediately rushed backstage. He found Lorelei with a pair of scissors, shredding the custom-made, star-dusted diamond wedding dress. The fragments lay scattered on the floor like wilted petals. Her face still held a crazed, triumphant expression. Lorelei, what are you doing here? How dare you tear up Vive's wedding dress? The news broadcast at the wedding just now was that you're doing? Where is Vive? Did you have someone lock her up? Do you have a death wish? Having been with him for so long, this was the first time Lorelei had ever seen Ethan look so fierce. Suppressing her nervousness, Lorelei went to him and took his hand, speaking in a coy voice. My dear Ethan, didn't you see the news? It's the top trending topic right now. The plane Vivian Ashton was on had an accident. She's dead. It really has nothing to do with me. She was the one who was foolish enough to run away from the wedding, and that's why the accident happened. My dear Ethan, now that she's dead, can I marry you instead? It's just that a dead person's wedding dress is bad luck. Can I change into a different one? Ethan furiously flung her hand away. Lorelei lost her balance and was sent flying, her forehead hitting the corner of a table and drawing blood. Veins bulged on his forehead, his eyes bloodshot as he glared at her. What you just said, say it to me again. Lorelei's hair was a mess and blood dripped down her face. She looked utterly wretched. She stared at Ethan, a wave of terror she had never felt before washing over her. It really wasn't me. The news said it was a plane accident. It has nothing to do with me. My dear Ethan, she was just a cheap replacement. If she's dead, she's dead. Ethan lunged forward and wrapped his hands around her neck, his eyes turning bloodshot like a rabid beast. You're tired of living, aren't you? Daring to come here and spout this nonsense. Lorelei's eyes widened in fear as she struggled. My dear Ethan, I was wrong. Vivian Ashton isn't dead. I was just talking nonsense. Please don't be angry. Just as she felt she was about to suffocate, Ethan released his grip. Since it was nonsense, then get out. I warned you not to show your face in front of Vive. It seems you really do have a death wish. Terrified, Lorelei scrambled to her feet and ran. My dear Ethan, please calm down. I'll never do it again. I'm leaving now, outside. The news of Vivian's death played on a continuous loop on the screens, and the venue had descended into chaos. At such a grand wedding, they're announcing that the bride died in a plane crash. Shouldn't she be here, getting married to Mr. Pierce? Why was she on that plane? Could there be some hidden story or inside information? Did Mrs. Pierce have the accident because she was running away from the wedding? Oh my God, weren't they deeply in love? Why would she run away? My perfect, pure love story is shattered. Is Mrs. Pierce really dead? To die tragically in an accident on her wedding day, with no remains found, that's just too pitiful. It was as if Ethan couldn't hear a thing. He sank to the floor, picking up the tattered pieces of the wedding dress and trying to fit them back together. Just then, his phone rang shrilly. "Hello, is this Mr. Ethan Pierce? We are the police team handling the plane crash. We have recovered your fiancée, Vivian Ashton's identification and some of her personal belongings. We need you to come to the station to identify the deceased's effects." Chapter 12. No, this is impossible. You're all still lying to me. Whose sick joke is this? Isn't it about time you stopped? Vive is afraid of heights. She rarely flies on her own. Is she just mad at me? Is she doing this to spite me because I didn't go pick her up yesterday? Vive, where are you? Don't you like the wedding I planned for you? I can plan an even grander one, how about that? Ethan abruptly ended the call, then a thought struck him. Right, Vive must be at home waiting for me. I have to go find her. He slammed his foot on the accelerator and sped home. When he arrived, the large villa was pitch black. The starry night lights that she always left on for him were off. He used to suffer from insomnia, and to help him sleep, Vivian had installed countless star-shaped lights, saying the stars would eat his nightmares and make him unafraid of the dark. But now the starlights were dark, without a single glimmer. Ethan burst into the house, frantically searching the nearby rooms first. Then, like a madman, he tore upstairs, checking every single room. But he couldn't find any trace of Vivian. He kept muttering, "Vive, where are you hiding? Vive, I've been so busy with the company lately and haven't had time for you. I've neglected you, I'm sorry, I apologize. Please, just come out, okay?" Ethan kept talking, still searching desperately, trying to catch even a glimpse of Vivian. As he scoured the entire villa, he realized something was wrong. A lot of things were missing. The house used to be filled with all sorts of little things Vivian had made for him, knotted bracelets, good luck charms, and the rare scriptures she would stay up all night copying for him. They had once filled an entire bookshelf, but now, where had they all gone? The wedding photos they had taken 3 months ago, which he remembered hanging in the living room, were gone too. And their photo albums filled with countless memories, and the oil paintings of her that he had commissioned from the foreign artist. Everything related to her, all their shared memories, where had they all gone? Ethan was on the verge of losing his mind. All the gifts he had bought for her, and all her personal belongings, had vanished as well. The entire house felt as if Vivian had never lived there, not a single trace left behind. An unease that was almost crushing settled over him, a heavy stone on his chest making it hard to breathe. A wave of panic he had never felt before washed over him. No, it's not possible. She wouldn't just leave me like this. She loved me so much, she was willing to use her life to save me. How could she bear to leave me? His face contorted in pain. He stumbled through the villa like a cornered animal and soon found himself in the study, Vivian's favorite place to be. He switched on the warm yellow desk lamp and saw the faint ink stains left on the desk from when Vivian had copied scriptures for him, one of the few remaining traces of her. Every evening, Ethan would meditate in the corner of the study, and Vivian would silently sit by his side, searching for rare scriptures he would like. For his happiness, she would sit there copying for 3 days and 3 nights, her eyes on him the whole time. He felt a sense of déjà vu, as if he could see Vivian sitting at the desk, secretly watching him, smiling. "Ethan, this time I'm copying a rare scripture that was lost 1,000 years ago. I bet you've never seen it. When I'm done, I'll show it to you. You'll definitely love it. A lot of it was in pieces. It took me so much effort to put it back together. But as long as you like it, I'm willing to do anything, as long as you're happy. I'm not tired at all. I could go on for another 3 days and 3 nights. The memories of the past felt like they were being stripped away, piece by piece. A giant black hole seemed to be expanding in the depths of his soul, devouring his sanity. Chapter 13, he went up to the rooftop terrace, but it was empty. She used to love sitting on the swing, lost in thought. Now only the empty swing hung from its frame. Ethan, filled with longing, sat on it, trying to feel the warmth she had left behind. He couldn't even remember the last time they had sat on this swing together. He only remembered that long ago, she would pull him to sit beside her, burying her head in his chest and sharing her wild imaginings until she fell asleep against him. She had once said that he was the god in her life, always giving her a profound sense of security. But ever since Lorelei appeared, he realized he hadn't spent much time with her. He had always neglected her, ignored her feelings, and could no longer sit quietly and listen to her chatter. He thought of her smile, always like a sunflower, full of life. It was like the first ray of dawn in his life, rescuing him from a world of darkness. In agony, Ethan took out his phone and desperately dialed Vivian's number. After a long, agonizing ring, he was met with a cold, mechanical voice. "We're sorry, the user you have dialed has their phone turned off." He hung up and dialed again, only to get the same result. Ethan then opened WhatsApp and sent her a flood of messages, but all he got in return was the glaring red exclamation mark in the message bar. The panic in his heart was like a giant, ever-expanding net, threatening to drown him. Ethan's mind was in chaos, as if he had just survived a brutal battle, his face turning pale. He crouched in a dark corner, then suddenly remembered something and scrambled upstairs. On the bookshelf was the wooden box with the note, "Open in 30 days." With trembling hands, he tore it open. Inside was a scripture. He held it in his hands like a devout believer. He lovingly caressed each page of Vivian's handwriting until he reached the last one. A sticky note was attached to it, with several large, glaring words. "Ethan Pierce, let's break up. I regret falling in love with you. Let's part ways here. Our fate has ended, our love is gone. From now on, we are strangers." Ethan stared at the note, rereading it as if trying to burn a hole through the paper. No, impossible, impossible. His eyes widened as if he couldn't believe what he was seeing. His heart sank like it was filled with cold lead. His face turned pale from the violent spasms of his heart, and he began to mutter to himself like a madman. "Vive loves me so much. She took care of me on that mountain for 5 years without rest. How could she possibly want to break up with me now? She would never leave me. Someone must be behind this. Who is playing this sick joke? You won't succeed in destroying my relationship with Vive." He then went to check the security footage from every room, replaying it over and over, trying to find the culprit. But it was all in vain. There was no trace of anyone else. In his heart, he knew. The handwriting on the note was uniquely hers. No one could fake it. He was just desperately clinging to denial, unwilling to accept the truth. He collapsed onto the floor, his image in tatters. In just one night, it felt as if he had endured an eternity of torture, his heart being carved out piece by piece until the pain was driving him insane. "Vive, how could you bear to leave me? You'll come back to me soon, won't you?" Chapter 14, he stroked Vivian's handwriting over and over, as if some of her warmth still lingered on the page. Looking at the neat yet resolute signature, it was clear she had truly given up on him and wanted to leave. Ethan suddenly remembered that day on the mountain when she had taken his hand and told him seriously, "Ethan, from now on, I will love you with my entire being. If meeting you was a blessing from a past life, I am willing to spend this lifetime repaying it. But if you ever change your mind, I will sever all ties between us and disappear from your world completely." Could her sudden departure be because she had found out something? Did she know about him and Lorelei? Lorelei was his first love. Just when he was ready to open his heart and protect someone, she had vanished from his world. At the time, he couldn't accept it. Slowly, it became an obsession he couldn't let go of. For years, that obsession had trapped him, leaving his world gray and painful. It was Vivian's arrival, like a warm ray of light that had slowly chipped away at his obsession, pulling him out of the abyss of his suffering. It wasn't until Lorelei reappeared 3 months ago that he realized the person he truly loved was, and always had been, Vivian. His feelings for Lorelei were no longer love, but hatred for her silent departure that had left him struggling in agony for so many years. These past few months had been nothing more than a way to vent his anger, a form of revenge. He had planned to play along until he was tired of it, then cut her off and let her taste the bitterness of being abandoned. He thought he had hidden it all so well. He meticulously deleted chat logs and call records from his social apps and regularly checked his car's data to ensure there was no trace of his actions. He was confident that he had the situation under control, that Vivian would never be hurt. But now, he remembered the way Vivian's eyes had dimmed a little more each time she saw him take a call, and how, whenever he came home and tried to be intimate with her, she would recoil as if covered in thorns. When had she found out? And why had she never questioned him? She had just vanished from his world without a word. How could she be so cruel, not even giving him a chance to explain? He had only wanted revenge on Lorelei. The one he truly loved was her. A fiery pain burned in his heart, and his eyes gradually grew moist. "Vive, I'll explain, I'll apologize. You can hit me, you can yell at me, just please give me one more chance, okay? Vive, where did you go?" Vivian was an orphan without parents since birth. The director of the orphanage had found and raised her, and she would visit him on weekends when she had time. Could she have gone to the orphanage? He immediately grabbed his keys and drove to the orphanage overnight. But the director said he hadn't seen her in a long time either. He didn't know where she was, and her phone was unreachable. He contacted many of her former classmates, but they all knew nothing. He suddenly remembered she had a best friend in college. After much effort, he got her address and knocked on her door in the middle of the night. "Where is Vive? Are you hiding her?" When her best friend saw Ethan, her face was a mask of grief and uncontrollable anger. "Ethan Pierce, Vivian died in a plane crash. Haven't you seen the news? She's dead. If you hadn't broken her heart, she would never have gotten on that plane. You're the one who pushed her off the cliff and killed her. Now that there's not even a body to find, you're suddenly concerned. You disgusting creature, I don't want to see you. Get the hell out of here. Don't you dare taint Vivian's path to the afterlife." Chapter 15, That news can't be, it can't be real. When did Vive find out about me and Lorelei? Her best friend couldn't contain her fury. If you don't want people to know, don't do it in the first place. You know damn well what you've been doing with that so-called first love for the past 3 months. I feel so sorry for Vive. She loved a dog-like creature with all her heart and soul for 5 years. Now she's dead because of you. Are you happy? You can go be with your first love now. There's no one standing in your way anymore. With that, she slammed the door shut with a loud bang. Ethan didn't know how he made it back home. He felt like a soulless ghost. He accidentally bumped the mouse, and the screen lit up with Vivian's social media account, which she had previously logged into on his computer. Like a drowning man grasping at straws, he stared at every single post. "The sunlight is beautiful today." When it fell on his face, I saw his eyes under his thick lashes like they held 1,000 stars. Tonight, he got the rare book I spent 3 days and 3 nights copying for him. He smiled and kissed me. Seeing him smile at me makes me feel like even staying up until I go bald is worth it. I had a fever today. He was so busy taking care of me, making me porridge 1 minute, getting me medicine the next. He kept telling me jokes to cheer me up. He's so cute when he's worried about me. He proposed to me. He's personally planning a lavish wedding for me. I feel like I must have cultivated good karma for centuries to be able to spend my life with him. I will protect this precious love with my life. The account's last update was from 3 months ago. Like a madman, he kept refreshing the page, but it remained stuck on that last post. Could it be that she found out 3 months ago when Lorelei showed up at the Island Hotel? He couldn't imagine what she must have gone through these past few months. Watching him with another woman, what kind of pain must she have endured? He didn't even dare to think about it. She was once such an optimistic, cheerful girl. He was the one who had personally crushed her light, until her pain grew like uncontrollable weeds, forcing her to flee his world. "Vive, if I could go back, I would never betray you again." As he muttered to himself, his heart felt as if it were being gnawed by thousands of ants. Regret, like a vine, wrapped itself tightly around his soul, trapping him forever in an abyss of pain from which he could never escape. Suddenly, a sharp ringtone shattered the darkness. Ethan answered hurriedly. "Vive, is that you? Please, come back, okay? Mr. Pierce, this is the officer in charge of the plane crash investigation. Could you please let us know when you might be able to come to the station to identify your fiancé's documents and personal effects?" Ethan had been avoiding this for so long, avoiding the confirmation of Vivian's death. He would rather believe that Vivian was just angry with him, hiding somewhere because she didn't want to see him. He refused to believe that the Vive he loved was gone from this world. But the police's insistent calls ripped the reality wide open. It shattered his last sliver of hope. "Mr. Pierce, your fiancé's body was torn apart in the explosion along with the plane. We've been searching for 3 days and 3 nights, but haven't found anything. Please accept our condolences." "Shut up, don't say another word." He hung up in a rage and blocked the number. But soon, another number called. Ethan couldn't control his madness, his eyes bloodshot. "Leave me alone, stop calling me. My Vive can't be dead, she can't. I'll turn the whole world upside down if I have to, but I will find her from the other end," a weary, elderly voice sighed. Ethan, it's grandfather. I heard about what happened with Vivian. What's going on? Chapter 16. After his outburst, Ethan was consumed by a grief as thick and suffocating as ink. Grandfather, I think I've lost Vive. What am I going to do? How am I supposed to live without her? If I hadn't been abroad dealing with a traitor and had come back for your wedding sooner, maybe things wouldn't have turned out this way. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll talk then. After hanging up, Ethan lay down on the side of the bed where Vivian used to sleep, trying to cling to the last traces of her warmth. He stared blankly at the ceiling, his eyes empty. He didn't sleep all night. The next day, there was a frantic knocking at the door. My dear Ethan, are you okay? I called you, but you didn't answer. I texted, but you didn't reply. I was so worried about you. Please open the door. Let me in. I'll stay with you. Everything will be okay soon. Ethan grabbed a glass and hurled it at the door. Get lost, I'm in no mood to play your games. From now on, stay out of my sight, Lorelei, persistent, called out again. My dear Ethan, don't you love me most? Why are you treating me like this? What happened to Vivian really had nothing to do with me. Please don't be angry with me, okay? Just then, a stern, elderly voice boomed from the doorway. It's you, what are you doing here? He was shocked and furious to see Lorelei at the door. After you took the money, didn't you promise you would disappear for good? How dare you show your face again? This was all you're doing, wasn't it? If it weren't for you, Vivian wouldn't have left, and she wouldn't have died. Ethan immediately opened the door, his voice hoarse. Grandfather, you know her? What's going on? Mr. Pierce SR looked at Ethan, his heart filled with guilt as he explained. Back then, I wanted to test if her love for you was real. I asked her if she would face the family's dangers with you or take $30 million and leave you for good. She chose the $30 million without a second thought and was gone the next day. I didn't tell you all these years because I was afraid you would never believe in love again. It wasn't until that child, Vivian, came along, I tested her several times. She said that even if you were a penniless beggar, she would still be with you, that no matter what dangers you faced, she would stand by your side, unwavering. Ethan froze, his face a mask of shock. But Ethan, you were a fool. I never thought you would hurt someone who was willing to love you with her life, all for her. Ethan's dark, murderous eyes locked onto Lorelei. Is what grandfather said true? Lorelei looked at his dark, terrifying face, a wave of panic rising in her, making her want to flee. She explained nervously, My dear Ethan, don't listen to your grandfather's nonsense. I love you the most otherwise. Why would I come back after all these years? She tried to take Ethan's hand, but he violently threw her off. Don't touch me, you guttersnipe, this is all your fault. If it weren't for you, my Vive would never have left. You took the money, so you should have stayed far away. Why did you come back? This is all your fault, you killed Vive. Tears streamed down Lorelei's face as she explained fearfully. My dear Ethan, I came back because I love you too much. I could never forget you. Can't we start over? You came back because you ran out of money and wanted to squeeze more out of us, Mr. Pierce SR said coldly. Lorelei's breath hitched. Her lie had been exposed, and a huge wave of panic threatened to swallow her whole. No, my dear Ethan, it's not like that. You've always loved me the most. You'll believe me, won't you? Ethan looked as if he had been struck by lightning, his body trembling, his pale, broken form barely able to stand. Love you the most. I only agreed to be with you to get my revenge on you. Since you're the reason Vive is gone, you can go join her in death. Lorelei desperately clung to Mr. Pierce SR's clothes as if they were a lifeline. Mr. Pierce SR, save me. If anything happens to me, your Pierce family will lose its grandchild. Chapter 17. Ethan's eyes were terrifyingly cold, filled with a grim malice. It's just a child. I can have as many as I want. Men, take Lorelei to the hospital first. Get rid of the child in her belly. Then, bring her to the basement and lock her up. I'm going to make you pay back the pain you caused Vive. 1,000 times over. Hearing this, Lorelei was utterly terrified. She clutched her stomach protectively. It was the only lifeline she had left. If the child was gone, she would have no way out. At Ethan's command, a group of bodyguards in black suits immediately moved in and seized Lorelei. Watching her desperate struggle, his expression remained unchanged, as if he were looking at a dead person. A moment later, Lorelei was dragged into a black car and disappeared from sight. Ethan seemed to age decades in an instant, slumping to the ground. Grandfather, my Vive, is she really never coming back? If I could, I would trade my life for hers. How could someone as good as her just leave this world? The one who should be dead is me, Mr. Pierce SR. Stood beside him with his cane, his expression somber. Ethan, this time you were truly in the wrong. There's no turning back. Once you lose the one you love, you can never get them back. Just then, a bruised and battered bodyguard in black ran back. Young Master Pierce, there's been an incident. We were ambushed on the road just now, and they rescued Lorelei. Ethan shot to his feet. What? A bunch of useless fools. Find her immediately if you can't find her. None of you will live to see another day. I'm giving you 1 day to bring her back to me. The bodyguard scrambled away in terror. Yes, sir, I'll gather the men and start the search right away. He sat outside until nightfall. He listlessly took out his phone and looked at the last photo he had of himself and Vivian. He caressed the face in the photo over and over, regret flooding his heart like a tidal wave, drowning him in endless pain. Downing bottle after bottle of strong liquor did nothing to ease his suffering. The pain spread through him with the alcohol, like countless insects gnawing at his flesh. Vive, I miss you so much. I'll trade my life for you to come back and look at me just one more time. Please, I'm begging you. The phone in his pocket buzzed incessantly. Young Master Pierce, there's a crisis at the company. The stock price is plummeting. There's a massive sell-off, and the company is on the verge of collapse. Ethan's voice was hoarse. What happened? Secretary Wilson quickly explained. An anonymous IP address has leaked all those graphic videos and countless photos of you and Miss Lowell. They're saying that Mrs. Pierce died because your cheating and philandering drove her to her death. Lorelei's 999 threatening messages and 108 threatening phone calls to Mrs. Pierce were also leaked. Now, netizens are relentlessly attacking the company's website and boycotting our jewelry and wedding dress lines, demanding that you and Lorelei pay the price. The stock price is still in freefall. If we can't stop it, the company will go bankrupt. His months of frenzied passion with Lorelei were laid bare for the world to see. Countless netizens flooded Ethan's personal social media accounts, saying that his years of asceticism had cultivated the heart of a demon and demanded he pay with his life. The fans who had once shipped him and Vivian now turned on him, flooding his account with so much hate that it was shut down. Ethan Pierce, once the celebrated ascetic prince of the capital, now had a reputation that was in tatters. The once vibrant man seemed to have aged overnight. Issue a public apology. As for their losses, use the money from my personal account to compensate them. And that gutter snipe, Lorelei, have you caught her yet? Chapter 18, not yet, but during the rescue, the shock of the ordeal caused her to miscarry on the spot. Ethan's eyes were devoid of any emotion. He said coldly, "It was just a bastard child. What I want is for you to bring me that gutter snipe, Lorelei. She dared to deceive me for so many years and run, and she dared to send those disgusting photos and threatening messages to Vive, causing the death of the woman I love most. I will have her sliced into 1,000 pieces. I'm giving you 3 more days. If you can't find her by then, don't bother coming back." Ethan ended the call and returned to the study, as if a trace of Vivian's presence still lingered there. He knelt on the floor and continued to piece together the fragments of the star-dusted wedding dress. Looking at it, it was as if Vivian hadn't disappeared. As if she were wearing it on their wedding day, stunning everyone and smiling as she asked him if she looked beautiful. She would have been breathtaking in it, but he would never see his Vive again. He was the one who had pushed her into the abyss. All their beautiful memories had turned into savage beasts, devouring him alive. Just then, the phone in his pocket buzzed. "Young Master Pierce, we've just caught Lorelei. She was hiding in a cave on a deserted mountain. It seems the men who rescued her did all sorts of unspeakable things to her before abandoning her. They were mercenaries she had hired. She probably ran out of money to pay them and they retaliated. When we found her, she was like a madwoman, biting anyone who came near. In the end, while trying to escape, she accidentally fell into a bottomless ravine. She's most likely dead." After reading the message, Ethan's face was a mask of grim, crazed satisfaction. Release some wild dogs into the mountains. My Vive, after all, had no remains found. He put down the phone and murmured to the star-dusted wedding dress, "Vive, I've avenged you. Does that make you feel any better? If it's still not enough, then you can come back yourself. You can have my life too, okay?" He clutched the dress so tightly, it seemed it would turn to dust if he let go. He carefully lifted the dress, intending to place it in the wooden box on the bookshelf, but the box suddenly fell and shattered. "Vive, are you even destroying the last scripture you left for me? Do you hate me that much?" Ethan's face was ashen. He threw the broken pieces of the box into the trash. As he turned away, his gaze fell upon some shredded paper in the bin. Although the pieces were badly damaged, he carefully pieced them together. He could faintly make out Vivian's signature on what looked like some kind of secret contract. His body jolted, his eyes widening. Could it be that my Vive isn't dead? Chapter 19. Well, congratulations, Miss Ashton. After 3 months of training, you're finally an official member of our base. Don't go dragging me down now. Changing her identity and coming to this isolated, secret base was the best decision she had ever made. In the blink of an eye, she had been here for 3 months, and it was the most relaxed she had felt in a long time. She was no longer living in a cage built by someone else, free from the suffocating darkness. She had come to realize that no matter how wonderful the things others gave you were, they were like a reflection of the moon in water ultimately, not something you truly possessed. Those lavish gifts and promises of a lifetime of protection could, in an instant, turn into sharp fangs lunging at her, nearly devouring her whole. Here, though far from home, she felt a sense of purpose. Everything around her was new, but the people here were the same comrades she had fought alongside all night long back in college. Nathan Shaw looked at Vivian with a teasing smile. Vivian shot him a glare. "Don't you underestimate me. When have I ever lost to you? When it comes to skill, I'm no slouch. Back in college, if it weren't for me, we never would have blocked those malicious attacks so easily. The school's encrypted data would have been completely leaked." Nathan raised an eyebrow. "You may have helped a little that time, but don't forget who swooped in at the last minute to patch up the final vulnerability." Vivian just snorted and ignored him. Seeing the life slowly returning to Vivian's eyes, Nathan, for once, didn't retort. "You know, those days in college were actually pretty fun. We argued all the time, but we always managed to work together perfectly when it mattered." The first time he met Vivian was at a cybersecurity competition. She was his opponent. That time, he lost. Nathan had been a computer prodigy since childhood. Complex code and intricate algorithms were like toys to him, easily mastered. He had skipped 3 grades and was admitted to one of the country's top universities. He had never been defeated, nor had he ever truly respected anyone's skill. That was the first time he had ever lost. His gaze fell on the girl, intensely focused on her keyboard. Her eyes were firm and concentrated, her fingers dancing across the keys as if in a silent conversation with the code. The code itself seemed to come alive, enveloping her. His heart skipped a beat. A feeling he had never experienced before washed over him. It was only later that he learned she was the new genius girl in the computer science department. They started spending more time together, often fighting side by side, and Vivian gradually came to see him as a good friend. For years, he had suppressed the feelings roiling inside him, afraid that if he broke through that good friend barrier, they would become strangers. And because of his cowardice, he could only watch as she graduated and fell in love with someone else. Knowing everything she had given up for Ethan Pierce over the years filled him with endless regret and heartache. If only he had been brave enough to confess back then, would she have been spared all that pain? Would she still be as proud, wild, and free as she was then? "From now on, we'll be needing your help on our projects, Miss Ashton. Don't you go running off on us again like you did before." A complex emotion flickered in Vivian's eyes, but it was quickly replaced by a look of resolve. "Don't worry, I was blinded before. I didn't know what was important. From now on, I will protect our nation's information security until the day I die." The light in Vivian's once dim eyes seemed to be gradually rekindling. Like a candle being relit, it shone with a resilient glow. Chapter 20. Vivian returned to her quarters and her new phone rang. "Vivian, how have you been? Are you getting used to it there?" As soon as her best friend, Chloe, picked up, she launched into a barrage of concerned questions. Vivian told her she was now an official member of the base and not to worry. "Vivian, you have no idea. Ethan Pierce has been searching for you like a madman lately. I don't know if he's figured out that there was something fishy about your death, but he's been trying to track down clues about you. Oh, and I don't know which righteous warrior did it, but someone leaked all those disgusting videos and photos of his 3-month affair with Lorelei online. Now everyone despises the cheating pair. They're saying that after all his years of asceticism, he cultivated the heart of a demon and should pay with his life. You should have seen the netizens fighting power. They've been attacking his companies and personal social media accounts for a month straight. It's still a trending topic. The once celebrated ascetic prince of the capital now has a ruined reputation, completely in tatters. His company's stock also plummeted because of what happened to you. If his grandfather hadn't stepped in, it probably would have gone bankrupt. His love life and career both hit rock bottom now. Hearing about Ethan Pierce no longer felt like a knife to the heart. She seemed to be growing indifferent toward him. To think that the man she had once loved to the bone had only ever seen her as a replacement. Enjoying physical pleasure with his first love while simultaneously telling her he would marry her and love her for a lifetime. Was toying with her feelings so much fun? Knowing that he had gone mad after hearing of her death and was still relentlessly searching for her didn't move her in the slightest. Instead, she felt a sense of annoyance. Since she had chosen to leave him through death, wasn't her determination clear enough? Vivian wanted nothing more to do with him. Since she had resolved to leave, she would disappear from his world for good. Chloe continued. Also, someone leaked online that the reason Lorelei left Ethan in the first place was because she took $30 million from his grandfather and went off to live it up abroad. The only reason she came back was because she ran out of money and wanted to score another big payday. And I heard Lorelei fell off a cliff and died, and her body was torn apart by a pack of wild dogs. It was a gruesome end. That's what you get for destroying someone else's relationship. Vivian had no interest in the woman who looked so much like her. Her love-hate saga with Ethan was no longer any of her concern. Also, I'm worried that Ethan might actually find out you're not dead. What if he comes after you again? You've finally gotten away from him. Don't get tangled up with him again. Chloe sounded worried. It's fine. This place is heavily guarded. Even if he finds out, he can't get in. Unless he truly has a death wish. Someone had leaked a false trail online, claiming she had been spotted in France, along with a few blurry photos of her from behind. Vive, I knew you weren't dead. I will find you, wait for me. Ethan immediately booked a flight to France and left that same night. Chapter 21, as soon as he landed in France, Ethan was gripped by a sense of panic. He was suddenly afraid of what he might find. Was Vivian really still alive? Was that shadowy figure in the photo really her? But as long as there was even a glimmer of hope, he wouldn't give up. Besides, he believed that his Vive loved him so much. Maybe she had staged this whole accident to make him repent. Once she saw his true heart, she would surely come back to him. He suppressed the turmoil in his heart and rushed to the location in the photo. He arrived at a noisy internet cafe, his eyes scanning the room, searching back and forth, but he saw no sign of Vivian. Then he saw a figure in the corner, and his body instantly froze. A girl sat there, typing code, her back to him. Her build, her posture, it was so much like the Vivian he had been missing day and night. His blood surged, and his once dull heart began to pound wildly, as if hope had been rekindled in that very moment. He took a deep breath and rushed toward the figure. Vive, it really is you, I knew you weren't dead. Ethan's voice was filled with an uncontrollable excitement and joy. His hands trembled as he reached out and gently touched the girl's shoulder. The girl's hands froze on the keyboard, startled by the sudden touch. She turned her head. She had a lip ring below her mouth. Looking at the man who had suddenly appeared, she sneered, "That pickup line is so outdated. Look, old man, if you're into me, just say so. As long as the price is right, we can work something out. I'm so sick of taking these crappy gigs anyway." With that, the girl tried to take Ethan's hand. He violently flung it away, as if suddenly waking from a dream. "Who are you? Why are you pretending to be my Vive? Who sent you?" The light in Ethan's eyes dimmed, and a huge wave of disappointment washed over him, leaving him breathless. The girl froze for a second, then cursed, "You look decent enough, but I didn't expect you to be a psycho if you can't afford me, then get lost. Don't get in the way of my business." With that, the woman turned back to her computer and continued typing, not sparing him another glance. Ethan swayed slightly, as if he couldn't bear the immense letdown. "Vive, where are you? I'll die if I can't find you. Please, just let me see you one more time." Ethan sat down by the entrance, dazed. He muttered to himself, his eyes empty, "Vive, I know you're still alive. You can't be dead. I'll tear the world apart if I have to, but I will find you. I won't give up." Ethan's hands hung limply at his sides, his body as if devoid of a soul. It was only after Vivian left that he truly understood that his love for her surpassed life itself. Regret seeped into every crevice of his soul, a bottomless abyss. His Vive, why was she so cruel as to abandon him and leave all alone? Leaving him in the ruins of their love to taste the bitter fruit of loss alone, forever bound by the chains of regret and longing. It was as if she were silently telling him, "I want you to live in endless regret." Ethan Pierce, I will never forgive you. Chapter 22. He sat at the entrance until late at night, but there was no sign of Vivian. He found a bar, hoping the alcohol would numb the ever-growing pain in his heart. On the colorful stage, men and women writhed like vines, wrapping around each other, kissing. Their movements were bold and suggestive, drawing a crowd and applause. Ethan ordered a bottle of the strongest liquor and retreated into a dark corner. He looked up at the thousands of stars in the night sky. They were beautiful. He remembered the days when Vivian was with him at the monastery. Her favorite thing to do at night was to sit on a bench and watch the stars. Whenever he meditated under the moon, she would trace his outline in the sky. He had asked her what she was doing. She would always smile and say she was drawing his face with the stars, so that no matter where she was, she could always see him just by looking up. As long as he was by her side, she wasn't afraid of anything. For years, she had traveled all over for him, just to buy the rare scriptures he loved. She had even broken her leg saving him on their way to a remote mountain temple. Looking back now, in their 5 years together, she had always been the one by his side, giving everything for him without complaint. And what about him? Besides buying her gifts, had he ever asked what she truly liked? He knew she was a genius in computer science in college, but for his sake, she had turned down her professor's invitation, extinguishing her own dreams. But he had always taken her kindness, her sacrifices, for granted. And when Lorelei appeared, he had brazenly done so many things to hurt her, all while claiming to love her and promising to protect her for a lifetime. How ridiculous it all seemed now. He thought of her when they first met. She had been so bright, her smile like 1,000 blooming stars. Such a beautiful girl, and he was the one who had personally clipped her wings, trapping her in his love until she could no longer fly, until she was filled with despair. The alcohol went to Ethan's head, making him dizzy. Just then, he saw a few guys with dyed hair flirting with a girl. It was the lookalike from the afternoon. She had changed into an even sexier outfit, a miniskirt, a black leather jacket, and a pair of combat boots. She was chewing gum as she walked over. "It's you again, old man. Can't have me, so you're just drinking your sorrows away? Fine, you're not bad looking. I guess I can have a little fun with you for one night. Let's go." Her fair fingers reached for Ethan's hand, ready to lead him to a room. Ethan stared at this girl who looked 5 parts like Vivian, a sense of unease growing in him. He yanked her toward him, his hand clamping around her neck. "Tell me the truth. Who sent you? If you don't talk, you won't see tomorrow's sun." The woman's neck was in his grip, but she showed no sign of panic. "Ha, so this is how you did it. This is how you made your fiancé die in the dark of night? No wonder she would rather die than stay with you." The woman's right hand shot out, expertly gripping Ethan's wrist. In one swift move, she flipped him, sending him crashing to the floor. Ethan lay on the ground, groaning in pain, looking up at her in disbelief. Who are you? You know Vive, where is she? Did you people take her? Take me to her." The woman pressed her high heel onto his foot. "She's dead. I'm just doing a good deed. I can't stand two-faced bastards like you. I'm just teaching you a lesson for her. Tell me, which leg was it that she injured when she saved you?" A moment later, Ethan let out a blood-curdling scream and passed out from the pain. The woman sneered and peeled off a prosthetic mask. Underneath was the face of a man. "You like the replacement game, don't you? Having fun?" Chapter 23. National security information is under heavy attack by hackers. This concerns the entire country's security and stability. We cannot afford any vulnerabilities. Find the attacking hackers, decrypt their methods, and destroy them quickly. The base commander's expression was grave, his eyes heavy. Time is of the essence. This must be resolved today. Vivian frowned, her eyes determined. "Don't worry, we'll give it our all. The most important thing right now is to urgently encrypt our information so they can't steal or damage anything further. We need to secure our defenses first." Nathan Shaw, his usual playful demeanor gone, analyzed the situation calmly. Based on their attack methods and the traces they've left, this group of hackers is highly skilled. Their code logic is tight and complex. I'll be in charge of finding their vulnerabilities, and then we'll launch a counterattack and show them the consequences of attacking us. Others chimed in, yes, we'll help with the interception. We have to make them pay. The commander nodded, his eyes filled with relief and trust. Good, I'll be waiting for your good news. 3 hours passed. Vivian typed code relentlessly, fine beads of sweat forming on her forehead. With a final keystroke, she was done. All right, I've added multiple layers of encryption to our data. It's secure now, they can't get in anymore. She let out a sigh of relief and looked over at the serious-faced Nathan. What's wrong? Have you found a vulnerability in their code? Nathan's eyes were glued to the screen, his fingers flying across the keyboard. Still searching. This hacker is cunning, the code is hidden deep, but I've got them by the tail. Now, I'm going to let them taste what it's like to be stabbed in the heart with their own knife. A smirk played on Nathan's lips. Now, instantly, the entire hacker attack was reversed. The malicious code, like a sudden downpour of arrows, turned back and pierced the enemy's heartland. Soon, all the hackers had retreated. Their entire system framework had been destroyed, leaving them paralyzed. At that moment, thunderous applause erupted. As expected of the strongest genius duo, one encrypts the data, the other attacks their vulnerabilities. They left the enemy wailing. After this, I doubt anyone will dare to invade again. Otherwise, their own systems will be completely crippled. Vivian Ashton was the genius girl of our computer science department back in the day. After being out of the game for a few years, she's come back as brilliant as ever. In just 5 years, Nathan had shed his youthful immaturity, now exuding an aura of reassurance. It was as if with him around, nothing was impossible. The once carefree figure had become a man everyone trusted and relied on. When a crisis arose, he could calmly analyze the situation and make precise, decisive choices. Over the years, he had become more mature and steady, but he was still handsome, with an extraordinary presence. He was the heir to the Shaw Corporation, a corporate empire spanning multiple regions and industries, with high-tech products in various sectors worldwide, an absolute leader in the industry. He had been known as a genius since he was a child, but he was always nonchalant and playful, never taking anything seriously. Except, that is, for computer programming. When he chose this path, he gave up inheriting the Shaw Corporation, a decision that angered his father so much that he had a heart attack and was rushed to the hospital. Nathan knelt outside the hospital room for 3 days and 3 nights. Finally, his father relented, giving him 10 years. Miss Ashton, you've been here for a few months now. Are you getting used to the food and accommodation? If you need anything, don't hesitate, just ask. Chapter 24, Vivian looked up at him, a dimpled smile gracing her face. Mr. Shaw, you've taken such good care of me lately. If I ask for any more favors, how will I ever repay you? Nathan's eyes darted away for a second, the tips of his ears turning red. Then don't repay me. If you're willing, my whole self is yours. Vivian froze, as if petrified, her eyes wide as she stared at him. She said in shock, You don't have a crush on me, do you? Seeing her utterly horrified expression, Nathan jumped as if his tail had been stepped on. What's with that look? Is the thought of me liking you that terrifying? I mean, come on, I'm handsome, I'm talented, and I'm very loyal when it comes to relationships. Where else are you going to find someone as good as me? Nathan unconsciously puffed out his chest. Actually, I really regret not taking that step sooner. I was afraid that if I confessed, we couldn't even be friends anymore. It was because of my cowardice that I missed my chance with you. So, I don't want to hold back anymore. Whether you like me or not, I at least want you to know that my feelings for you these past years have never changed. Nathan looked at her with a serious, intense gaze. Vivian felt a little flustered under his stare. It was as if her scorched black heart was beginning to feel the slightest ripple. I thought of you as a brother, and you want to date me. As Vivian said this, a blush crept up her cheeks. Nathan immediately retorted, It's not dating, hey, I'm serious. I've never liked someone this much in my entire life. I don't know what to do. Vivian looked at the man who was usually so carefree and unrestrained, now looking like a flustered teenager. I don't know how to respond to your feelings yet. Give me some time, okay? Nathan looked at Vivian's smile, a ripple of enchantment unconsciously coloring his eyes. A moment later, he collected himself and smiled. I've already waited 5 years. No matter how long you need, I'll wait for you. Just one thing, you can't go back on your word and no running away. Vivian found this amusing and teased. I don't owe you any money. Why would I run away? Nathan, thank you for being the star in my night sky all these years. You've warmed all my cold and lonely days. Ethan Pierce slowly opened his eyes. The harsh white light of the hospital room made him dizzy for a moment. He instinctively tried to move, but a sharp, stabbing pain shot through his left leg. His left leg was broken. It had been half a month, but any movement still sent pain radiating through his entire body. He looked at his leg, encased in a thick plaster cast, a mixture of emotions swirling within him. He thought of how Vivian had broken her left leg when she fell into the ravine saving him. It had taken her a full 6 months to recover, and for most of that time, she had been on her own, still accompanying him on his travels around the monastery with her leg in a cast. But now, even the slightest movement sent excruciating pain through him. He couldn't imagine the agony his Vive must have endured during that time, how she had managed to get through it. And she would always just smile at him and say, "It's nothing, just a small injury. In a few more months, I'll be back to jumping around. You don't need to worry about me." Ethan's face was deathly pale, his chest filled with a heavy, suffocating feeling. The pain was like a relentless tide, wave after wave, making it almost impossible to breathe. Chapter 25, after an unknown amount of time, he gradually calmed down. Just then, the phone in his pocket rang. Young Master Pierce, according to our informant's intel, Mrs. Pierce was not on the plane that exploded. They tracked her to another military aircraft. So, it's possible that this was all a diversion. Mrs. Pierce is not dead. Ethan's once dull eyes widened in an instant, as if struck by a powerful electric current. His body jolted. He completely ignored the searing pain in his broken leg, his fingers turning white from gripping the phone so tightly. His voice was hoarse with an almost unbelievable joy. "What did you say? My Vive isn't dead." "She's really not dead. That's wonderful. Vive, I'm coming to find you." "Just wait for me." His eyes were filled with surprise and the elation of having found something he had lost. It was as if, after struggling in darkness for so long, he had suddenly seen a ray of hope. The intense pain in his left leg seemed to vanish in that moment, washed away by the immense joy. "Where is my Vive now? Send me the address, book a ticket now. I need to see her immediately." Secretary Wilson hesitated on the other end of the line. "But, young Master Pierce, your leg still needs time to heal. If you don't let it rest, you could end up with permanent damage." "Is my leg more important than Vive? As long as I can see her again, have her back by my side, I would be willing to pay any price, even my life." "Stop wasting time. I need to see her today." "I can't wait another second," Secretary Wilson added worriedly. "But even if we go to that place, we probably won't be able to get in. It's a restricted area, the heart of national security, extremely secret." Ethan's eyes were filled with a crazed determination. "Gather all our resources and manpower, arrange a private jet, and bring some equipment and our best men. Even if we have to dig 3 feet into the ground, we will find my Vive. I don't care what you have to do, I have to see her." Without Vivian, he was like a walking corpse, barely able to make it through each day. He felt like a fish gasping for air on the shore, on the verge of suffocating at any moment. The plane landed on an unnamed island, but there were no buildings in sight. Panic began to set in for Ethan. "Survey the entire island, a full-scale search, don't miss a single suspicious spot. I need to find Vive today." They ventured deep into the island's interior, relentlessly searching for any trace of Vivian and the hidden secret base. As time wore on, a hint of anxiety began to show in his eyes. "Found it, it's down here. I found the entrance." Ethan rushed to the underground entrance. Before him was a formidable, cold iron gate. He tried to force it open, but an alarm blared. "Please present your identification, please. Present your identification." Unauthorized entry, Chapter 26, inside the base. The alarm sounded. Nathan Shaw, Vivian Ashton, and a group of others rushed to the control room, where they saw Ethan Pierce standing at the underground entrance on the monitors. "Who is that? How did he even find this place?" Our secret base is completely hidden. We've never had an unauthorized intruder in all these years. Yeah, he looks decent enough, but his leg's in a cast. You don't think he's a hacker here for revenge, do you? The colleagues in the base murmured among themselves, immediately raising their security alert. Liu, go report this to the higher-ups immediately. The location of this base cannot be compromised. It's a matter of national security. As for the man at the gate, I'll go deal with him. Let's see what he wants. He must have a death wish, coming here to cause trouble. Nathan patted Vivian's shoulder. You wait here, I'll handle this. As he turned to leave, Vivian grabbed his arm. This is my mess. I should be the one to deal with it. I'll go. Nathan saw the determination in her eyes and nodded. All right, then we'll go together. No matter what happens, I've got your back. A moment later, the iron gate opened. Nathan and Vivian walked out. The moment Ethan saw the figure he had been searching for so long, his heart was instantly filled with joy. It began to beat uncontrollably, and his gaze grew intense. However, as he got closer and saw the scene before him, his steps faltered. Her hand was holding the arm of a strange man. They were standing close, their posture intimate. Ethan's face instantly darkened, his eyes wide with burning rage. He strode toward them, his voice trembling with anger. Vive, you really are alive, that's wonderful, but what is this? Vive, I've been searching for you like a madman for so long, and you're with someone else? How could you do this to me? Nathan stepped in front of Vivian, a sarcastic sneer on his face. He was about to speak, but Vivian held him back and stepped forward to face Ethan. They hadn't seen each other in just a few short months, but the man before her was now unshaven and disheveled. His left leg was in a cast for some reason. The once lofty, ascetic prince had lost all his former glory. She sneered, Mr. Pierce, if I remember correctly, we've already broken up. My note was quite clear, wasn't it? From now on, we are strangers, and we should not disturb each other. The fake death arranged by my superiors was to ensure the security of this base and avoid any complications. You should understand the seriousness of this matter. I hope you will leave immediately. Ethan looked at the woman who had loved him for 5 whole years, who had once loved him so passionately and fiercely. But now, she was looking at him with such cold indifference, as if he were a complete stranger. His heart felt like it was being twisted by a knife. No, you are my fiancé. As long as you come back with me, we can be together forever. Vive, I'll plan an even grander wedding for you, how about that? Vive, are they forcing you, holding you captive here so you can't be with me? Don't be afraid. No matter what we're up against, as long as I'm here, I won't let anyone take you from me. Even if it means ruining my reputation and losing everything, I won't. Enough, all of Vivian's pent-up emotions burst forth. Ethan Pierce, from the moment you treated me as a replacement and betrayed our relationship, I stopped loving you. Don't keep doing these things, thinking you're so moving. And don't come looking for me again, because I don't want to see you anymore. Right now, you just disgust me. Chapter 27, hearing Vivian's resolute words, Ethan's face turned deathly pale. His leg in the cast felt as if it were being pierced by countless needles at once, the intense pain spreading throughout his body. He swayed, nearly losing his balance, and had to brace himself against the nearby wall. His eyes instantly dimmed, his voice filled with pain and disbelief. Vive, I never loved Lorelei. I was only with her these past few months to get revenge for her leaving me all those years ago. The person I truly love has always been you. Come back with me. Stop this, please, Vivian laughed coldly. Revenge? Ha, that only makes you more despicable in my eyes. You claim to have deeply loved your first love, but now you say she was just a tool for your revenge and to vent your anger. Ethan Pierce, I once thought you were the purest, most godlike man in the world. I never imagined your heart could be so filthy and despicable. I guess I was blind for those 5 years. You are no longer the man you once were, and I am no longer the woman I once was. I really don't love you anymore. Please leave. Vivian closed her eyes, refusing to look at him any longer. An eagle that has broken free from its cage does not look back at its old prison. Its heart yearns for freedom, for the future. Since the cage was broken, why would she ever return? She took a deep breath, a sense of release from the past washing over her. She turned and took Nathan Shaw's hand. Let's go back. Nathan smiled. All right, whatever you say. Ethan watched as Vivian took the strange man's arm and resolutely turned to leave him again. His face contorted with rage, the veins on his neck bulging, his eyes burning with a furious fire. He roared, "Don't you dare leave like an out-of-control tiger." Ethan lunged forward, swinging a heavy fist at Nathan, his eyes bloodshot. "What right do you have to touch her?" Caught off guard, Nathan took the punch. Blood trickled from the corner of his lip. He clenched his fists, about to retaliate, but the moment his eyes fell on Vivian, he slowly relaxed his hands. A sharp slap echoed through the air. Nathan looked at Vivian, stunned. Blood slowly seeped from the corner of Ethan's mouth. He stared at Vivian in a daze, his eyes filled with shock and sorrow. "Vive, you hit me for him." Vivian's face was as cold as ice. "From now on, stay out of my sight. I have nothing more to do with you." Vivian turned and walked away, holding Nathan's hand. Watching the cold iron gate about to close, Ethan was frantic. He suddenly dropped to his knees. He slammed his head against the hard stone ground, blood instantly streaming from his forehead. "Vive, don't leave me. As long as you stay by my side, you can hit me, you can yell at me, whatever you want. Just please don't leave me, I'm begging you." Back at the base, Vivian let out a sigh of relief. She had finally settled her score with Ethan. She thought it was all over. "Vivian, bad news that guy didn't leave. He's got his men trying to break down the gate." Vivian shot to her feet. "What?" She rushed back to the control room and saw Ethan on the monitor, his eyes red. He was recklessly ordering his men in black suits. "Whoever can break down this gate, I'll give them $50 million. I want this damn gate gone from my sight in the next half hour." Vivian looked at the once rational and noble Ethan, now completely crazed and disheveled. She stood up, wanting to stop his madness, but Nathan held her back. "Wait a little longer. The good part is yet to come." Chapter 28. After a while, Ethan grew impatient. He snatched a sledgehammer from one of the men in black. "All of you, get out of the way, a bunch of useless fools." With that, he began to recklessly slam the hammer against the closed iron gate. With each thunderous crash, the gate began to deform under his relentless assault. A piercing alarm instantly blared through the air. A moment later, a squad of fully equipped soldiers arrived like a tidal wave. They raised their guns, aimed them at Ethan, and surrounded him. A tall, upright officer stepped forward, his voice cold. "Sir, you are intentionally damaging national security property. You must come with us for investigation." Ethan's face was ferocious. "Not unless you give me back my Vive, otherwise, don't even think about making me go with you." With that, he continued to frantically smash the gate. The officer's eyes were icy as he uttered a few words. "In that case, there's no need for further discussion. Take him away." Ethan was firmly restrained by several strong soldiers and dragged, kicking and screaming, into a military vehicle. Tears of regret streamed down his face. "Vive, you really don't want me anymore? If I could do it all over again, I would never betray you. I know I was wrong, Vive." For the crime of endangering national security, Ethan Pierce was sentenced to 5 years in prison. The stock price of his company, which had just stabilized, plummeted overnight, and the company teetered on the brink of bankruptcy. The once celebrated ascetic prince of the capital had fallen from grace into the dust. All the entanglements of the past were like the thousands of stars blooming in the night sky, once again full of life. Vivian sat on the grass, gazing up at the starry sky, a smile on her face. The captive eagle has broken free from its cage, soaring toward the stars. From now on, free to chase its dreams. Suddenly, a deep blue jacket was gently draped over her shoulders. "It's windy at night. Don't catch a cold." Under the starlight, Nathan's palms were sweaty with nervousness, his heart pounding like a drum. He took a deep breath. "Vivian, I have something to say to you." Nathan fumbled in his pocket for a long time before pulling out a star-shaped blue sapphire ring. Vivian, who had been admiring the stars, turned her head to see Nathan kneeling on one knee. She froze. Nathan's face instantly flushed red. "Actually, from the first moment I saw you at that competition, the way you were typing code, I fell in love with you at first sight. After that, I kept trying to find chances to get close to you, but somehow, you ended up seeing me as a brother. So, for all these years, I've been suppressing my feelings for you. You've taken deep root in my heart. I want to bicker with you every day, and I want to be with you, doing whatever you want to do. If you want to be a free-flying eagle, then I will strive to be the sky that lifts you up. As long as you're willing, I will never leave you. Vivian, will you marry me?" Faced with the sudden proposal, Vivian's heart skipped a beat. She had always been charging forward, never noticing that there was someone who had been protecting her starry sky in his own way, afraid she would lose her way. He had always been standing in the same place, never leaving. She was the one who had never looked back to see the person who was silently warming her world. She paused, taking a deep breath, her eyes filled with love and determination. "Yes, I will." Nathan was overcome with joy, a blush spreading to the tips of his ears. He carefully slid the ring onto her finger. Then, he pulled Vivian into a tight embrace, as if trying to merge her into his very being. Vivian coughed lightly. "Are you trying to strangle me so you can inherit my code?" Nathan immediately loosened his grip, a goofy grin on his face. "From now on, everything I have is yours." Vivian looked at his joyful expression and couldn't help but smile. Life was so short and beautiful. Why let the past hold you back from moving forward? Cherish the present, and sing freely in the midst of all that is beautiful.